Hello guys, and welcome back to part 2 of the eco-industrial house. This is part 2, so if you missed part 1, you're going to want to jump back and take a look at that. Right now, as I said, a lot of this house was inspired by the new windows in Eco Lifestyle, so we started here just to switch out the windows upstairs to these new modern very modern influenced windows. I really like them. They have a lot of character. I feel like the downside to these windows is that they have a lot of character. I don't know how flexible they are, but they work perfectly in our eco-industrial house. And then I'm coming alongside here and I'm filling in this landscaping on the side. We'd already done the front landscaping and I was pretty happy with it, but then I realized that the way I've placed this house, it sits on a corner lot, so it probably didn't make any sense not to have the landscaping go all the way around the side like this, since you'd have foot traffic along here on the corner lot. So we're just going in and adding, still kind of a little bit front heavy, kind of trail off into shrubs on the side here, but just adding some extra detail to the front landscaping so that it's not so playing on the sides. And then after that, we're going to jump in here and take a look at this office. I did go for kind of a teal vibe in this office. It was very much, I think, inspired by this office chair. I like teal. It goes well with these orange wood tones. I think it's a nice complementary color to them. And I do feel like almost every room in this house ends up with an accent wall. But I do like a good accent wall. And so I'm not upset about that. It worked out in the end. But so bringing kind of the oranges in this palm leaf, it might have been, it's a tiny thing in the game, so we blew that up kind of to continue with our eco theme. And to continue with our eco theme, in a moment here, we're gonna add a lot of plants. I don't know how much I subscribe to the decorating theory that every room has to be full of plants, but when you're building an eco house, I think it makes sense that every room is full of plants. The eco lifestyle pack definitely, I think, lends itself to that style of decorating. And these windows do too, because I actually don't end up doing it, but in every time I've used these windows, I end up wanting to fill them with plants. I think I decided we had enough plants in this room already and just let that one be. You could definitely go back and fill it with more plants. But I mean, it's with the whole eco footprint thing that it makes sense. I do believe maybe only trees offset that. I confess that I've spent most of my time decorating and haven't actually done much with the gameplay. I've done a little bit, just enough to kind of cycle through the different options you have for the community lots. But I think the plants surely help your eco footprint. Maybe not. I could be wrong there, but still, it goes with the vibe of the house. We're gonna add some more plants on this little side table. I believe this is actually a dresser I stuck in here, but I liked it as kind of a chunky side table. I really do like these kind of these brick details, the inlays on the top of these different wooden things. I like that they give this little pop of color, but it's subtle. So many things in The Sims are very, 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 very loud in their color, but that is something I think drew me to this pack in particular, is that it has a lot more subtle details to it. So we do stick in some books in here to add to our office. I imagine this more being like the study room than like maybe a formal office, since we don't even end up with a full bookshelf anywhere in this house, but there is one of the end caps with books, so they have access to books. They will not go without. I don't actually even end up putting a computer in here. I think I decided against it just to try and keep the cost of the house down, and so then you can just kind of decide how much money your Sims can invest in their computer. And then we add, yes, let's guess it, more plants. But I mean, it goes with the eco vibe. You gotta have a lot of plants. I did really like how this turned out. I don't feel like it was overly cluttered with, like, it has a lot of green going on in here, but I didn't feel like it turned into like a greenhouse or something. I felt like there was a good balance between what we had there. And then I had already finished this kitchen, but I felt like there was so much wood in here that I feel like we were losing the industrial vibes as we moved over to this kitchen. So I do decide to swap out this table, and then after I swapped out the table, I decided to swap out the chairs. I am pretty happy with how this turned out. I actually think we brought in a little bit more of that kind of green metal from the filing cabinet, and it just made it feel a little more industrial. A little less Joanna Gaines, a little less farmhouse, and just a little bit more industrial. And then we jump upstairs. We're gonna work on this master bedroom, which is a huge, weirdly long master bedroom. But I really like how this one comes out, even though the room shape I think is a little odd. But I think it turns out to be a really nice space in the end. And we do end up doing some modifications to our floor plan here in a bit, which kind of pulls in the length of this room a little bit. I do not love this floor, and you'll see that. I love this floor. I think this floor sold Jungle Adventure to me, but I do end up not liking how it looks in this room. But we'll swap it out here in a moment. But I mean, I had talked about before that I kind of saw this house as the young professional couple who is environmentally conscious, but still kind of like the nicer things of life, a little bit hipster. And so this bedroom isn't overly designed, I will say. I think it has more of that like repurposed, reused feel to it than the downstairs of the house really does, actually. I mean, we put in the floofy rug, and I guess that's pretty fancy, but I use a lot of those very recycled looking items from Eco Lifestyle, so it gives it a little bit of a kind of almost a more organic feel up here. Like we kind of, it ends up not being industrial, this bedroom. It's a very organic, it's much more on the eco side of things, I guess, upstairs. The industrial kind of is downstairs in the kitchen with a very industrial kitchen, a little bit more in the living area, and then up here ends up being much more on the eco side of things. We have all these fabricated items, which I don't know if I've talked about these before, but in Eco Lifestyle, you have the fabrication skill, and these lamps, this table, the bed and the chairs are in the regular catalog, but the rest of these fabricated items you have to go into debug to get. I believe the desk I used downstairs may also have been one of those fabricated items, and they're really pretty. There's a beautiful sofa that you'll see me use in another part of the house. There's a lot of really great things in that fabricated thing, but they're part of a skill. So if you're building and you want to get access to them, you have to go into the debug menu through the cheats, and then you have to do the show hidden objects. I think they're just in hidden objects. I don't think you actually have to go into live edit, but if you do, that's the next one. And then you can't clone them. Like, they'll come through in the gallery, but if you want a second one, you have to go back and debug and get it. And each item is its own. You can't use a swatch tool because each item is made with a die. So they're each their own individual thing. But they're definitely worth, I mean, it's really cool that the items your Sims build, if you choose to go in that fabrication route and level up in that skill, that the items are really nice. It's nice that the skill pays off in that way, but if you're just someone who builds, which I am a person who mostly spends my time in build mode, it's a little hard, and you might not even know they're there if you don't watch videos, if you're just someone who mostly builds and doesn't spend any time kind of looking at what other people are doing. I don't even know, you may never see them, and there's some really beautiful items. So definitely, if you're a builder, make a point to kind of go dig and debug and look at those. There's a bike in there. There's also a couple other furniture items that you can only get from the dumpster in Eco Lifestyle that are also available through debug. So there's some really hidden gems down there. Those rugs, which I don't end up loving. Someone else had said that they like golf ball, I think, and I kind of think they it's not even that. They have such a, I like the shape, but that texture is weird, and I will end up pulling them out of here. They're definitely something you know, it's a new pack. You want to use the new stuff, but they end up not working the way I want them to. So I do end up pulling them out of this room, but I like the idea of them. And this is when start to work on this room, which I had envisioned this house as being a young couple, right, who either has kids or is planning on kids, so that this is like their first family house. And then I got up here and realized that basically I have a 1-bedroom house for a family house and a giant bathroom. It's not really that big, but it's a pretty big bathroom. And so I decided here to pull it a little bit out and make it into it turns out being a taller room. And so we play around with the floor plan. Kind of makes it end up being a little funky. I don't like love the bathroom being tucked in this corner, and it's gonna give me problems in the future, but it worked out. We had a really big open second living space considering we have the living space downstairs. So I do think it was okay that we took a chunk out of that, and then we kind of made our house into the family house I had envisioned. So, and we got to use this really cute toddler bed that also comes from Eco Lifestyle. And I promise that this is not sponsored by EA. I'm not trying to sell Eco Lifestyle. I just really like it. It does have it's a lot of it's my style. I like the raw woods. I like that. I like mid-century modern, so a lot of the furniture in there is that style, and I like the idea of the gameplay too. So if you don't have Eco Lifestyle, you'll be missing a lot in this build, unfortunately. But it is a really does have some really nice objects. Having come recently to The Sims, I feel like the more recent packs, the Tiny Living, Laundry Day to some extent, and this one are my favorites. Like, I feel like maybe as the years have gone on, they've modernized their styles a little bit. There are some I've been really impressed what people can do with just base game. And I do want to go back and kind of, since I didn't have to experience the struggles of base game building, and I think even now it's not a fair comparison because I know they've added so many updates that, like, 2014? Is that when The Sims 4 came out? That can't be right, but building is very different from now. So so you can do a lot with base game, I know, but this style I do really enjoy. So, when the next time it's on sale, I would recommend picking it up. But we've kind of finished up the toddler room here, and going with just this hint of the blue and green. It's mostly very neutral. That bed led itself to it, but we do have the blue and green in the rug, the blue and green in the toy box, and the wall. And now we're on to our upstairs living area. I do really like these wall sculpture-y things, these metal wall sculptures. I'm not sure how practical or realistic it is that you would have these in your upstairs living room, but I imagine these are artsy people. They invest in the modern sculpture arts. And these couches, I really had this vision. I had seen somewhere, and like industrial, kind of come back to our industrial attempts here. a like industrial living room with metals and like nice worn brown leather couches. These are not worn brown leather couches. They're very brown. They are that deep, ugly. Let's just say that is an ugly brown, and they do not last very long. I really wanted to size this TV down, but I wasn't certain if you do that. I imagine it affects the animations of the screen. I know like Windows and a lot of things, if you size those down, don't work right. So if someone knows, can you size TVs down? Is that an option? But it worked out okay at its full size, but it would have fit the space a little bit better sized down, I think. And I have been trying to consciously think that if you are a new builder like me, that if you want to size something down like that, I could do it a lot with plants, especially in landscaping. I think it's nice. Like I use some hostas to be able to have the variation in size like you would in real life. Like not all your plants are like exactly identical sizes in real life. If you use the square bracket keys, you can size things up and down. So if you're someone who's just starting out building, as an important tip, and something that is not obvious. So here you see that the brown couches are no more. We said goodbye to our vision of worn leather couches because they do not exist in The Sims 4. And I kind of built this entertainment center out of the same cabinets we use downstairs. And those are base game. So like I said, the base game does have some nice stuff. There are some nice things to be found in base game. But we make kind of like an entertainment center out of there, and then use this nice kind of worn painted coffee table. Here I really thought about trying to make this a chalkboard wall, but I didn't feel like I could quite pull it off, so we gave up on that. And I do think, and you'll see that I moved this sculpture over just to give us a little bit more space, just to make, I think, the living area feel a little less corporate maybe. And then this is a towel, I believe, that I threw in here as a blanket. And then another one of these things, I'm gonna go back into the debug in a second here. I love these bottles that go on the table. I think I use those possibly in 3 different rooms in this house, and I will probably use them. I will struggle not to use them in everything I build in the future. But what I was saying was, you're going to see me go back here, type in the cheats to go back into debug, to dig out, because one of the other things that is added through the skills, I get some fizzy juice drinks here, which is one of the things that was added, but candle making was added. So there are tons and tons of different candles in the debug menu, which is important to know if you're a builder. So definitely, if you want a lot of different candles, and they have different, I didn't even really think about this, but they have different mood effects too for your Sims. So I don't know what exactly happens to your Sims in this room. I play tested all of this. It is all play tested, but I didn't really pay attention to the mood effects of the candles. I believe you can turn that off, and I'm so sorry here that I forgot to close my cheat window for a little bit here. And another thing, because I had been struggling with, I am a move objects on person. I like that freedom of being able to move things around freely. And I had tried to download a mod to keep it on, but it wasn't working. And then finally realized today that you can use MC Command Center to always have move objects on. I do not always want debug on. That is too much clutter, for me. But if you want to always have the hidden objects and debug on, that you can use MC Command Center, and then you will not have to accidentally build a whole bathroom with your cheat window on your screen. But so this is the bathroom we added upstairs. I do end up, when I come back to playtest this, I realize that your Sims need access to both sides of the bathtub. So that bathtub is inaccessible, so I actually end up swapping it out for a shower to make sure that this is all playable. And then we add these nice metal sculptures up here, and of course a plant. I actually don't add much. I kind of leave this like an open space. You maybe could have stuck a console table in there, but I feel like transitional spaces don't always need to be extremely decorated. And then finally, we're kind of coming to the last part of this build, and we're gonna build an outdoor patio. And I really did like how this patio turned out. It's one of my favorite spots in the house. It just it's full of plants, and we also get to use those fabricated couches, which are some like, and this is where you'll see where that fabricated stuff is really great. I really want to use the columns from Eco Lifestyle, but they're so big they didn't work at all. So we just ended up using some wooden ones from I think Outdoor Retreat, which if you go to download this in the gallery, there's maybe a couple of things from Outdoor Retreat, but it's by no means a necessary pack for this build. It's just kind of a few things here and there. But we're gonna make this little outdoor seating area. And this is an area where we go big into plants. We're gonna put in these like hanging vine things, gonna put some flowers up on the top of this. We're gonna stick in a bunch of, it's just going to be a very green gardening-y area, but I really love how this turns out. It really is my favorite part of the house. But as we are on the last part, I just want to thank you for watching this. Let me know if you have any feedback. I'm very new to this speed build thing, so let me know if there's anything, any suggestions, any comments, any complaints. Let me know down in the comments. If there's anything you'd like to build, I would love if you have a sim family and you have a certain style. I really do like having a little bit of constraints to my building. So if you're looking for a house you like to play and you don't like to build, which probably means you wouldn't be watching this, but just in case, let me know. I would love to build something for you. I'm not quite sure how often I will be doing this. I have one more that I have mostly recorded, so hopefully I'm trying to aim for at least one video a week. So be sure that if you want to see more, that you subscribe, you hit the like button if you like it. It helps other people find this. YouTube tends to really hide things, so thank you again for watching. I'm going to leave you with this beautiful patio, and I'll see you next time. Oh,